Welcome back, everyone. At the moment, I'm changing the timing belt and the water pump in my Suzuki Jimny behind me here. And when I'm doing that, I remove the radiator and a lot of other stuffs. And I thought that's a good opportunity for me to install a LED light. I picked up this basic LED light kit from Amazon. I think there will be a link in the description. Otherwise, you could just search on LED light on eBay, Amazon, and stuff like that. This is I paid around $50 for it. So not much. And that was for the full kit with the wiring harness and everything. What's nice with the kit is that it comes with everything you need, basically. It comes with the relay, the switch, and everything. Though I didn't like the switch it came with, so I modified mine a little bit. But the principle is basically the same. There's a switch. It's not any high-tech, really. And I'm going to hide it in the vehicle, in front of the radiator, behind the grill. So I constructed this bracket. It's a very simple one. The bracket is pretty simple. The idea is that this part goes on the vehicle and then the LED light goes on the top on it. So I made two holes here for the LED light, and I made two holes here that I put in the frame rail on the vehicle, and I put some rivets there. You could also just bolt it there, but I thought the rivets would be nicer. And this is just an angle iron, and this is a box iron that I cut a little bit, and then I just welded it together. If you don't have a welder, you could just drill some holes and put them through. That will be good enough. I want to hide it behind this area, so I don't want it to be visible when it's off, and I don't want to destroy the shape of the car either. Keep in mind, if you're going to put a winch on your Jimny, this might not be the best location to put a LED ramp, but well, later down the road, if I put a winch on it, I have to move it around, so keep that in mind. Down in the engine, you see that I put two rivets here, and the idea is that the bracket goes on like that. I even painted it in matching color because that's what I have, and then the LED light goes on here. Keep in mind, if you're putting rivets here, you should paint up it so you don't leave some bare metal around it. I did that, and I also put some gasket material around the rivets to keep the metal protected so it doesn't start to rust. The kits that you pick up nowadays are pretty much self-explanatory. You have the relay that it comes with, and you don't even have to do any wiring or figure out where it should connect, because you get a connector that looks like this, and that one is simply connecting into the relay, and it only fits in one way. The other thing that you should keep in mind is to put things that you connect on the battery. They are self-explanatory as well. There's a black one and there's a red one, which goes to positive and negative. Then there's two cables going out. One cable goes to the LED light and the other one goes to the switch. Depending on what kit you get, you could get it with a connector that looks like this. And that connector goes to the switch itself. So it basically just connects, and then you have the switch. In this case, I modified this switch a little bit because I wanted another kind of switch than I got with the kit. But either way, most switches work the same way. There's one positive, there's a negative, and then there's a one that goes to the relay itself. if you're wiring this up yourself, there is some wiring diagrams and stuff like that you could search on. But I don't really see the point of wiring all that yourself, to be honest, because these kits comes with everything you need and they are super easy to use. The LED light I got didn't came with the connectors, so I had to put some connectors there. And you could put the connectors on there either by crimping it or by, what is that called? By taking lead, the metal, and melt it and get it down there. Probably have a name, I don't really get a name, but anyway, crimp it or just attach it in any way that you want. And as you see as well on the cable, I put some heat shrinks on it, and there's 2 heat shrinks, not shrink. There's one smaller one that I'm going to cover the connectors with, and then there's a bigger one that I'm going to cover everything with. Also keep in mind that when you're putting heat shrinks on, you should make it in a way where the cables are unable to come in contact with each other. It's time to start with the installation, and the first thing I'm going to do is to attach the LED light on the vehicle. So the LED light is installed on the bracket. And that is also pretty straightforward, just bolt it on wherever the bolts are. And now it's time to put this one in the vehicle and torque it down. And then I had a possibility to adjust it as well in the angle so it becomes right. So this gets pretty simple when the radiator and stuffs like that is out of the way. Put the bolts there. I think though that it is doable even with the radiator here, but that would be more hassle. And now I could just get my hand here and adjust the location on the LED light as well as the angle. When you find an angle that you are satisfied with, you just bolten it down and tighten it. Next step now is to do the wiring and connect it to the battery, and then we're basically set. We got it installed where it should be, and it looks pretty neat. It's not visible at all from the outside. At the moment I just put the relay here resting, and then I took the cable that goes to the switch and I pulled it through the firewall down here, and that one comes in here. It's this switch here, and it comes into the firewall, and I made it, and I put the switch up here to turn it on. This switch is a little bit big, so I'm gonna see if I could find a smaller one that fits more nicely in here. There was just a dummy one that I removed here with the screwdriver. Just do like that and it will pop out, and then you could put a switch in here. The next step now is to take some zip ties and put the cable in position and do the wiring that goes from the firewall to the battery, so the cables are nice and don't risk hitting anything. The wire comes out here, and I'm gonna put it up here and all the way to the battery. And we have an existing wire loom that goes here. That is a good location to put it in. So I'm gonna put it there with the zip tie. And basically what I'm gonna do now is just to put zip ties and secure the cable to the switch. So I got it zip tied in 3 positions. One over there, second there, and then I just put it here, and it goes around the brake booster down through the firewall. That is just enough. The next wire I need to give some attention is this one that goes down to the lead, and this is way too long as I see it now. The best way to deal with this would be to cut it off and make it shorter, or you could just fold it like this, zip tie it, and put it somewhere where you have space. Until I figure out where I'm going to put the relay, I'm just going to leave it like this. And now, anyway, I'm going to connect the cable into the LED light. I found a spot to put my relay. I just simply zip tied it on here, and then I just hiding away the cables underneath here. Gonna zip tie that a little bit more so it's snug there. The cable that goes from the LED light, that goes here, and it follows this path down. I could secure it here around the airbox, and then it just goes all the way down to the LED light. Now we're going to connect the LED light, and when I'm doing that, I'm going to put some heat trims over the connectors. Let's connect it, just make sure that it fits nice and tightly. And now the heat shrink goes over here. Let's do the negative one. The heat shrinks is to makes for a tighter connection, but it also keep moisture out. And since this is an off-roader, that is very important. So now I'm gonna shrink this one, and then I'm going to take it even more around it to make it really protected. And as you can see now, they are well protected. Let this one cool down a little bit, and then we're going to pull over another layer of heat shrink that I already prepared here, like that. There we go. Let's shrink this one down too. The cable are well protected, so the LED light is connected. Next step now is to do the wiring. We're gonna take this wire that goes from the LED light down here, and we're gonna zip tie this too so it's snug and then it runs well within the engine bay. And that's basically it. Well, of course we're gonna connect the battery and stuff like that, but this is more or less all there is to it. Let's have a look on how I attach the cable. I ended up drilling a hole in my bracket so I could attach the cable from the LED light in the bracket. And then we have the holder for the radiator that goes here. There's a bracket for that one, and I put the cable behind it. And next one is up here. I think I probably need to remove this later down the road because I think this is where the radiator will go. But maybe I could use this one or somehow put it here. I'm not afraid of that. Down here we found I could just put all the cables together around the airbox, and then the cable runs all the way to the battery and to the relay up here. So what's left now is, and I zip tied the fuse around the battery like here. So what's left now is to connect the positive to the battery and the negative to the battery, and then we are more or less set. I'm gonna put it like there and then just attach it. and that it goes on the battery. It's connected like this. Let's tighten this down. And remember, always start with the positive one. I think I'm gonna go in a similar manner. Let's remove the bolt here and I'm putting it on there. The negative one could be connected almost anywhere you want on the ground. It doesn't have to be connected on the battery. It's close by, so it's pretty convenient for me. So there it goes. And there it goes. Now I'm just going to tighten this one down. That's good enough. Make sure that the cables are secure. And now we are basically set. So we are now all done. So with the flip of a switch, we can turn the LED lamp on. It looks pretty nice. I'm satisfied. It's going to be very interesting to take this for a ride and to see how it is out in the real world. But by the look of it now, it looks pretty badass. I like the look of it. It's not super obvious that there's light, but I think it's going to be giving some extra light. Considering that this is a cheap LED light, it gives a fair amount of light. And what you see here is my low beam light compared to my high beam light. And the last one is the LED light together with the low beam. But overall, I think it's going to be an improvement. If you like this kind of content and want to see more, click here to subscribe and click here to get a full playlist with how to do stuffs, especially on the Suzuki Jimny. But there's also other how to do stuffs on other vehicles. So check out my channel and thanks for watching, and I see you later.